I built that box with the silence and all that kind of stuff. That was an awesome piece of it, which is a huge detail that adds to the movie itself. And the silence had nothing of. That silence had nothing like that.
Yeah, there just wasn't a lot of effort. Like you see a lot of the thought put into A Quiet Place. You just don't see that in the silence.
Right.
You can shake a baby to make him stop crying. That's what I heard.
I mean,
that
whole sequence. So like the way that he ratchets up the tension is just incredible. Like she goes into labor, she steps on the nail, she's in the basement because she's gonna have to give birth in this bathtub, and then the basement flood. She has to give birth quietly, and John Krasinski's like setting off fireworks to distract her screaming and the baby crying. And then after they have the baby, they're in the basement floods, and the baby's in this cradle, and there's a creature down in there, and you can't make it. I mean, gosh.
It was tense. I watched it today.
So many tense moments.
I had never seen the whole movie. I'd only seen parts of it, and so I watched it today. So that scene where she starts to go into labor, she goes in the bathtub, and you could see her, like, the acting was superb there, like her trying to maintain quiet when those contractions were hitting, and the fireworks go off right at the moment where she has the baby. So she lets out that one scream, the one scream that she, and there was also a scene right after that, right before the big climax where John Krasinski gets killed or sacrifices himself in such a better way, where the kids fall in the grain elevator, like the silo. And that also gave me a lot of anxiety, because that was always, for some reason, taught to me, like, if you get, I don't know why, but if you get, if you fall in a grain elevator, don't move.
Yeah, because
why do I know that?
I don't know. Die every year because of that. So if you've ever lived any place near like farmlands where you had silos, like
people go in there and
drown, like it's just drowning in dry.
Nightmare.
Terrifying. Yeah, like drowning to death, burning to death, awful. Like just those, human fears.
If Krasinski had been thinking, he would have had her have the baby behind the waterfall. Then you could scream on.
But I think he was gone. He was gone
when
she went to labor. So, but but I mean, honestly, that's something I would think that they would think about. It's like, this is where we're going to do it when we can do it, because,
it can be as loud as you want. Exactly.
Yep.
Well, how come they just didn't make the whole house out of that stuff that they made the crib out of?
I'm sure they didn't have a lot.
Well, they went underground. That's where the crib was, in that underground area. So, like, you could soundproof pretty well.
Because they soundproof that downstairs, right? All the downstairs.
Well, but think about any noise that you make for construction draws noises. Right. They probably have very limited means of constructing. True. You almost have to go down because you can hide the sound better. You can cover up the sound better. Not a situation I'd rather be in. But also, I thought John Krasinski needlessly sacrificing himself, much like John Corbett. Maybe all the Johns have it, and I don't know what's going on, but
he was injured. He got injured just before that, so he was already going to die. Like,
I don't think it wasn't a life-threatening injury, was it?
No, I think it was just the fact that he had to get his kids out of there, and I think if he didn't do that, there was no other way to get the kids.
I felt like there was.
They had a shotgun, and apparently shotguns work.
Yeah, he had a shotgun. I mean, I guess you have to make that call, but that is like,
you never know how you're going to act in that situation, Amber.
It's true.
Until you're there. Until you're faced